Hi everybody, and welcome to video 8 in our Steampunk Journey series, and we're using Nautical Steampunk and Steampunk Trains as our two kits. In the first video of this section, which was video 7, we put this bad boy together. We inked it. So we've got this, and then we've got this pocket. And then we have another large page, like we have a large page here. And then, oh, you know, I didn't even check the width on what I had planned. Gosh darn it. And then a big page here and a big page here. Okay, so let's do the cover. We'll start with that. And I have all this stuff set aside for the cover. I'll put all this stuff over here. Okay, and then we're going to put the cover on, or the paper on. And gosh, I almost... I'm going to go with my first choice, which was the submarine. So we're not cutting the length, we're only cutting the width on these long pages. And then we're going to put the brad in the circle for the tie on this, but we won't put the tie on it until we see how fat this gets. Okay, so this should be our paper right here. So let's ink that. We're inking our papers in black, remember that. But not very thick, just along the edge to kind of set it off from the background. I'm filming this in February, that's why I have my hand warmers on. If we get going and my fingers warm up, then I'll take them off. Now, do we want to do anything to this before we glue it down? I don't think so. Don't think so at all. I think we're going to glue it down, and then we'll do our brad and circle closure. And I think we're going to use this circle right here as the area for our circle, and then once we glue it on, put the brad in and all that, then we're going to glue a gear to the top of it, but we're not going to do that in this video, but I'm just telling you that's what we're going to do at the end. Do this now before I start dealing with the glue. End up gluing my hand warmers to the cover. I don't know why it's so cold in here, but it is. Not cold enough to affect the glue, thank goodness. I'm sticking my shirt in the glue. I'm going to put this up far enough that I don't have to round the corner. Goodness. It's still crooked. Or the stamping is crooked, which that's entirely possible as well. Okay, now let's put the hole in. And the reason we definitely are doing that before we do this side is because we're going to have the brad arms. We have to do it in far enough that we are inside the border on this side. So that's why I thought this area would be far enough in. Okay, now for this, let's make sure this is going to match. I don't like it. Let's punch out a hole of a different scrap. Yeah, I like that better. So let's glue that on top of here. Let's ink it first. Oh, do we like this better? I almost like this better. Like the back better than the front. Because with the brad in there and then the gear on top, you're not going to see a whole lot of it but the color. So I like the color better. Like this. So this is 2 pieces of manila folder cut into a 1-inch circle, and 2 pieces of this because I decided I didn't like the color once I had selected the paper. So this is a nautical one, and then the next page is going to be a mixture of both, but I really like this submarine. And then we're going to add some stuff to the page. So this should be dry enough to punch a hole in the center. So now we have to punch a hole in the center of this. And since we're covering it with the gear, it's not going to make that much difference. All I have are silver and gold. And I don't know, should we go with the gold? The gold is so bright though. Because our what am I trying to say? Not our dangles, but our charms. charms are in that bronzy color. Okay, so we've got that on there. Now I want to put this along here, and it just fits. Okay, so I've inked it, so let's glue it. Now normally I would have words facing this way to the right, but that's not going to work on this. We need this to face this way. Darn it. I got it on every single page. Okay, then I've got this that I want to put here. And then I wanted to put, this one may be too big. I was going to put this one what if I put this one here? I really like this octopus one. And put it here. So it kind of goes down around this. And we still see our submarine. And I don't mind that this goes over onto the tab. I'm just putting these little blobs on here so I can kind of slide it around a little bit. I know I don't usually put this much stuff on the front, do I? And I might put another word on here. I don't know though. I don't have, oh, I might have the word steampunk. I'll check that later. Oh, there it is right there. Steampunk. I don't see the word journey. Cut into the word love, which is alright. I'm not anticipating using the word love unless I wanted to put love steampunk, which I would be agreeable with. Oz. Little friendly friend Oz, friend of the video channel. Frequent visitor. Little frequent flyer. Let's see. No, it just kind of looks like it's floating lonely up there. I like this image, and I like this image. So let's put it down here. I have to ink it. Kind of wish I hadn't cut into the word love now. Maybe we'll have it in here somewhere else. I'm using 2 kits worth of words, so you know the way designers are. They're always putting the word love in there, even though it doesn't usually apply. And then we'll put a couple gears on this too, so it doesn't feel lonely. So we want to move it over far enough that we can put something here. I still can see my submarine. Put that down there. I'm downright impressed with everything I put on the cover. All right, let's go to the nightmare that is page 2. It's not a nightmare, but you'll probably think so. Okay, so we need to cut the paper for page 2. Here's everything for page 2. Gosh darn it. I'm going to poke the plastic. There we go. What a nightmare. Okay. There's that. Okay, all we have to do is measure the width. We want to make sure to cover our brad. And on this one, we want to make sure we go all the way over to these rivets here, or stenciled, you know, rivet dots. And now I'm wondering about my plans. Oh, just enough room. Okay. So we'll ink this. We're definitely not going to glue it down. We are doing all kinds of crazy stuff to this one. Now, we may not get this one done. I'll try. Oh, I wanted to cut the edges of the CD covers for pockets. We can do that ahead of time for papering. And that way we'll have our edge still. Alright, so let's close up our book and move the book out of the way. Okay. So let's cut these for pockets. They're going to go on here. Actually, they're going to go on like this. If you got a tall skinny, you might as well use it, right? So let's cut the very little end off of the CD covers to open them up. Then I'm going to have to re-ink them with the black. Front and the back. Now I used the brown because that's what we did our stenciling with. And then I did the edges with the black. We only need one magnet, which is on the CD cover in the middle, and that will hold the the other two shut. Okay. Alright, let's keep that black out of here, huh? Now the first thing we want to do is one at a time. We're going to have to cut the covers from the fronts of the CDs. Let's set these back here. So we don't actually need the paper just this second either. Let's start with top CD, which is CD cover 1, which has the magnet. In fact, why don't we put the magnet on now? Oh, I broke one. Gosh darn it. You have to be careful if you let them just snap down in this box. They're very thin. They're only 1 millimeter thin. They're 10 millimeters around by 1 millimeter thick. So they're 10x1mm when you're looking them up on Amazon. So we fit the pocket, we put the magnet on the middle one. I could do magnets on all three. It's just up to you what you want to do. Okay. That magnet's not in the center. I just put it over where the word magnet was. Now we have to remember that since this is all that's going to hold all three shut, we're not going to really be able to put, we may need to put magnets on all three. The reason I'm saying that is because to put gears on them, we'll pull this away. You know what I mean? If we put it on 1 and 3, it's going to make them further away from the paper. Let's just put one on all three. Why not? That way each one will be held down. Holding that a little too close, wasn't I? See, that could have broke by doing that. And I don't want it too close to the edge because it'll pull the pocket open. This paper is really thin. And in fact, we may not even want to put, we might put this one on the bottom, these two on the top, so we can put gears and stuff on these two, and then not put the gears on this one. So I really want the top ones to have stuff on them. Well, let's cover them. How about that? All right. All right, this is 2, 3. Oh, the top CD, which is 1. This is number 1. I might want to keep that. Well, we'll just do the whole thing all the way through. We'll glue the front on each one. That way we don't get the fronts moved around to the wrong CD cover. Because I toiled over this. I toiled, I tell you. Excuse me. Okay. I think it's here. No, it can't be there. It's right there. That's a nice paper for that. Let's make sure it's the right size. Okay, let me get. Okay. However, let's put a 1 on this one. Let's cut the circles all at the same time. I don't want to run 3. So this is number 2. Gonna help, is it? Putting a 1 on the front. This is number 1. This is number 2. And this is number 3. Before you glue them on with a directional paper like this one, you're going to have to remember which way you're going to glue it. It seems to make sense, doesn't it? And the reason I cut the edge first is so that when I cut and left the little bit of a border, I didn't turn around and cut that little bit of a border off. When I trimmed the CD cover for the opening. See, I'm getting better at finishing my sentences. 2. This is 1. Put it right there, right where I'm going to cut it out of the circle. Okay. The reason I'm doing them individually is because there's little variations in their sizes most of the time. Yeah. That's upside down. So it's that one. I make notes like this just to help myself out. You don't have to do it just because I do it. It's just the way my brain works. I need little notes. I must have notes. Well, that's not much easier to see on, is it? Love this paper. I was looking at the blue side for the, I was looking at this side for the line. Now this to me is directional as well. Okay, let's ink it. The last big manila folder project I did, I accidentally dragged the tab of it when I had it open across the ink, not the black, but the brown. And so I had to improvise. I almost cried. I had everything together. I had half of it papered, 2/3 of it papered. Yeah. So that's our top, and this is number 3. Okay. So stack these all up. Okay, I'm going to get my Big Shot out and cut it off screen so I don't have to put it on my glass surface. You'll be able to hear it though. Get our round one. I lost my biggest one, so we're going to go with the next biggest one, which is this one. Don't know how I lost it. Possibly that was the largest. I don't know. maybe this was the largest, because I have a 4 in my set that has the wavy edges, scalloped edges, and it's a little too big. So let's take all 3 of these. Okay, it's going to be a big thud. Maybe not, because there's so many papers. I'm going to run it through more than twice. I'm going to run it through 4 times. Back and, back and forth and back and forth. Make sure it cuts through all 3 layers. Yep. Well, that's 3 pieces of 65-pound cardstock that I cut through with just this die. So that's pretty nifty neato. Now I have all 3 center pieces that I can use for cards if I should so want to. Which I like them. Might even use them on the backs of these CDs. Uh-oh. Paper clipped the wrong side. This may be the largest one from this set. I really didn't lose anything. I can't imagine losing one since they're all paper clipped shut, and I always put it right back immediately. Let's put these over there just to think about them as cards on the back side. Okay. So I'm pretty sure this was 2. So that's going to go on there. We have to ink the centers. This is going to go on number 3. That leaves this one for number 1. Very nice. Okay, let's ink the insides of the circles. I've forgotten to do this. I don't know how many times. If you forget, and you're doing more than just a light inking, you can do this around the cellophane and then just wipe it off the cellophane. And then you can get the edge inked. If you remember to ink the outside edges before you cut the circle, then it's a lot easier to ink, because you don't have to try to ink the edges when it's awful flimsy from being cut in the center. Off a little bit from the center. Hopefully too bad. Really don't want to have to do it one more time. Yep, that's fine. Yeah, we've only got 15 minutes left. So, what I think I'll do, you know, I didn't pick out any papers for the insides or the cards. So, I would like to show you how to do one of them. I've got glue on my finger. Well, I'm going to do the fronts. So you can see that it's off. But since this is a little smaller than the window, as long as it doesn't look bad on the CD cover, then it looks like we're going to get away with it. Now there's a train on here. I think that's right side up. This one's going to be a little more difficult. I'm going to take the back sides of these and make them the insides of the CDs. That's what I've decided just now. So like this one for this one for this one. Okay, and then this one for this one. If I have enough, no, I won't. I was going to say I could do this for two of them. Anyway. feel like this is directional because of the anchors. But it's going to have to go this way. Okay, so now let's take CD1, which I think I decided the inside was going to be this one. I really would have something other than this in there. So I'll look for a paper for that one. Make sure these are still correct. Okay. I know it seems redundant, but with something like this, you can get them all turned around, and then you're not going to like your outcome. Okay, so let's go with this one since we know exactly what center we want. And you just do it like this, like you're trying to slide it in. In fact, let's do it like this. And you want to tip it out just quite a bit. Then just make a mark about 1/8 of an inch above the bottom corner and cut it straight across that way. And that usually gets it pretty close. Okay. So much for pretty close. Wow. Then you want it the width of the, now this is still open in the back. We haven't glued the back paper on. So it makes it easy to slide this in, but just make sure that you don't slide it in too far when you're gluing it in the back. Okay? So let me double check my Alright, where's my mark? Oh, here it is, yeah. No, that wasn't it either. Alright, so see, you want to make sure it only goes to here. So let's mark it on this side. It's easier to see anyway. And then you want to cut it just a smidge shorter than that. Not much. Not even hardly a 16th. Because you don't want it sticking out. You don't have to ink this. And you only have to glue the front edge. Make sure you glue the edge that is closest to the back. So you want to pop this up, and then you want to glue the back side. You want to make sure not to accidentally push it too far. But you definitely want it far enough in. This is a little crooked. And that glues your inside in. Oh, look at that. Off a little bit. You can see the rim right there. We'll put something over it. Okay? And then all we have to do is the back, and we don't have enough time. So we will start with that in the next video. We'll do these, and we'll get them onto the paper, and then we'll get the paper decorated as well. Okay? All right, well, I'll see you in the next video, and that will be just a second for you and a day for me. Okay, bye-bye.